Actually, it's a link along that tether line you see there, 25 feet of umbilical cord. That contains a life support system and communications link from the spacecraft life support system out through that chest pack.
Okay, Tom, let me turn around before I pull that leg down. Okay.
Yeah.
Tasha! Tasha, where are you? Tasha! Yeah. Tasha! Tasha, where are you, Tasha? Tasha! Yep. Tasha! Tasha! Where are you? Where are you, Tasha?
Я сижу читаю, что ты хочешь? Надо ко мне лезть. Не надо... Как ты...
What if you go in with your clothes on? First thing, shoes off, get those pants off immediately and relax when you do it. Big breath. Another breath. Now, what do I do with these? Check this out. This will become my leg check. Tie the legs together in a knot. They are together. Now check this out. Watch this. I'm going to get some air in. Look what's happening. All I'm doing is pushing air into the pants. Now, if I grab this, now look. Let's get a little fancier. That's it, folks. Pair of pants, became a life jacket. Keep a little wet once in a while so the air stays in. Guys, I'm gonna float here for a long time. If I start running out of air in the pants, start putting more air in the jeans. Refill. Look at this. I'm safe. Have a great day. Learn how to swim? Check out my online course. Or find a great instructor, learn how to swim.
One of the biggest ones, of course, is cholesterol. Cholesterol was the boogeyman of all time. You know, it even superseded evil spirits. Okay? Cholesterol. It was the cause of heart disease. It was the cause of strokes. And it turns out to be absolutely, positively not true. It all started back in 1901 when a German chemist was actually commissioned, I guess would be the word, by the German Navy to come up with a lubricant, a synthetic lubricant for diesel engines used in submarines. And he was successful. His name was Wilhelm Norm in 1901. He was successful, but they only had 100 submarines. So it was not too exciting as far as a market. And so he sold his patent to a British soap firm. They wanted to use it to make soap. And he said, oh, gosh, people are making their own soap. We can't sell it. And so they sold it to Procter & Gamble. They sold the patent to Procter & Gamble. And they said, we can do a better job of selling soap. And they couldn't sell soap. Even when I was a kid, we were making our own soap in the early 40s. We were making our own soap still. And so Procter & Gamble couldn't sell it as soap. They say, well, what's the next biggest market? Submarines are too small a market. Soap is a big market, but everybody's making their own soap. Let's sell it as food. So they began to diss butter and cream and lard as cooking because an unhealthy way to cook. It's saturated fats and has cholesterol in it, and it clogs arteries and does all this stuff. And the American Heart Association was commissioned by Procter & Gamble, who owned the patent for Crisco, which was the name of this lubricant for diesel engines for Nazi submarines, Crisco. And they sold it as a healthier way to cook than cream, butter, and lard, which people have been using for centuries. Well, following their lead, saying that that's correct, we wound up with Alzheimer's disease, low T, erectile dysfunction, adrenal exhaustion, severe menopausal symptoms, many other problems, all because of lowering cholesterol in our diet, using egg beaters instead of eggs, boneless, skinless chicken breasts instead of chicken skin. And the American Heart Association came out, like a bandit because they got their $1.7 million back in the, I think it was like 1914, about in there, which is a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money, but it was a lot of money back then, in exchange for an endorsement that Crisco was a much healthier way to cook your food and eat than using butter and cream and lard. Well, I looked for 35 years to find a pivotal paper which showed that belief was correct, and you can't find it because it didn't exist. It was all an ad campaign to sell Crisco. Okay, it was a two full page story in the Wall Street Journal about 8 months ago. In June 23rd, 2014, I think it was somewhere between an 8 and 10 page story. And it was all about Ansel Keys, a guy who was on the board of Procter & Gamble and on the board of the American Heart Association. He brokered the deal for the $1.7 million from Procter & Gamble to the American Heart Association to get them to endorse Crisco as a healthier way to cook. Well, they created Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease did not exist in 1944. Today it's number 4 killer of adults over the age of 65. Low T certainly didn't exist when I was a kid, and Grandpa didn't have to worry about low T and erectile dysfunction. Menopausal symptoms, Grandma used to go through menopause in 3 seconds in their 70s because they were still cycling and having babies in their 60s. Okay. Adrenal exhaustion is very, very common today, where before you have to appreciate testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and adrenal hormones are all steroid hormones, which are 95% by weight cholesterol.
Good evening. I'm just checking my sound here. How is everyone? People here early. That's nice to see. Oh, I can hear myself. Yeah, I sound my usual sexy self. Right, I've turned that off now. There we go. Turn that off. How are you, everyone? Thank you very much, Spanish Chicken, the biggest cat lover in the world. Spanish Chicken, he loves a pussy. Does Spanish. How's the lighting? Yeah, I've just got my normal bulbs tonight. Just my normal bulbs tonight. I say my normal bulbs. I don't have LED. I try and avoid LEDs. I just have traditional light bulbs. I get them from eBay. You try and get traditional light bulbs now, it's almost impossible. They don't last that long, I'll be honest with you. I think the quality is not fantastic, but I'm not too worried about that. You know, I'm not too worried about that. I get loads of them, and I'll pay about 15 quid for, I don't know, about 20 of them or something like that. So it's less than £1 a bulb. Anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday Love-In with me, not a Dr. Robert, on Healthfreedom UK. Yep, it's another show to make your Tuesdays go a little bit easier, to ease you into Wednesday. And what have we got for you today? We've got health stories. We've just had some video memes. I'll talk about that in a second. We just had some video memes. We've got health stories, video memes. We've got what I've been up to this week. We've got your questions, not my questions, but your questions. We've got some music, of course. I'll be revealing that in a minute as well. And oh yeah, there might be a quiz as well. Found a new quiz. Hopefully this one will go a bit better than last week's one. Let me look at my notes. Let me have a look at my notes. This is very professional. I have notes here. Should we do the legal bit, shall we? Okay. So good evening. My name's not a Dr. Robert. I'm here for your fun and entertainment. As the name says there, I'm not a doctor, and so therefore anything I discuss about health is purely information and not to be taken as health advice. If you want some health advice, go and see a medical professional, of which I'm not. I'm a professional in entertaining you on a Tuesday evening on this wonderful show with you lovely people watching now, who I'm going to say hello to. So let's start from the top. And of course, the first person in the chat, I posted the show early yesterday, actually. And the first person in the chat was yesterday, even though you can't see his comment, but it actually was Jerry, son of Mick. And so, of course, what do you get, Jerry, if you're the first in the chat? Yes, congratulations, Jerry, being first in the chat. Let's have a look. Let's go to the top then and see who's here. Let's have a look. So where are we? Oh, Spanish Chicken was next as well. Good evening, Spanish. A big pussy lover there. And let's go down. Kitty. Talking to pussies. Kitty's in. Good evening, Kitty. Good evening, Starfish Troopers Pete. And let's have a look. Who else is here? We've said hello to Jerry. Good evening, Rich T. Hope you're well, sir. And let's keep going. Mascara Snake. Hello, Mascara Snake. Keep going. Here we go. Kendo Taylor. Hello, sir. I hope you're feeling better and you're getting stronger every day. Kendo, I was going to say to you, maybe consider, not that it's medical advice and all that old jab, but consider some protein shakes. Like get some really nice or good, as best as you can afford, whey protein, and that will help you build up your lean muscle, because you said that you've lost a little bit of weight. So yeah, consider that. Let me know what you think of that idea, Kendo, or or what you don't think of it, whichever way. Chris, good evening. Hello to you, Chris. And anyone else that I've missed so far? Just going down here. Just going down. New Bean's in. New Bean, I've got a tune for you. Stick around. Stick around, New Bean. I've got a tune for you. Just for you, New Bean. So, now why people congratulating? Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Anyone else that I've missed? Ridiculizer, good evening, Days. Hope you're well, sir. Nice to see you here. And there we go. Days is already given. There we go. Look, milk, bananas, and peanut butter smoothies help me out. Help me out. Wait on bud. Yeah. So there we go. That's a suggestion for you, Kendo. So yeah. Consider if you have lost a lot of weight, consider getting some whey protein, because it's really, really good for you to build up lean muscle. It's not even about putting on weight; it's just about building your weight up, your lean muscle up, rather, I should say. So, isn't it cold? Isn't it cold? Yeah, Ridiculizer says it's helped me put weight on. Yeah, there we go. Well done, sir. Good. Yeah, it's really cold. It's at the moment, it says it's 2 degrees here. So, I spoke to my sister today, who lives in Spain, and she said it was a very chilly 18 degrees. But they don't have heating like us, though. She said that because they've got all stone floors and stuff. So it's a bit more. It's a bit more difficult to stay warm. So when it does really get low, I think she's now got herself one of these electric blankets, because she bought my mum an electric blanket for Christmas. My mum's already using it, and she's loving it. Good evening, James Owen. Welcome aboard, you lurker, you. And of course, welcome to the chief lurker, who is Matt. I know you're there, Matt. I know you're there. Nice to have you on board, Matt. One day, Matt might even say something. You never know. Matt might say something for Christmas. Remember, it's not my Matt. It's the other Matt. Yeah. So, yeah, people giving some advice on shakes and things like that. That's a good idea for Kendo. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, and hello to all the time travelers and all the lurkers who never say anything, but welcome aboard. You're welcome to the show, and you're watching Healthfreedom UK. It's my Tuesday live show. I try and give you a live show every Tuesday, and we just cover some news. We cover some interactive chat with you right now, and we also do a little quiz at the end, and we've got something called Your Questions as well, where I ask you a question and get you to talk back to me in the chat as well, if you want to do that. It just makes you think. I was going to say to you about the memes as well. First of all, the video that I showed, the spacewalk, How real was that? Hmm? When we look back at those, I swear you could see like when he's out in space. What I want to ask about that spacewalk is who was videoing it? Who was videoing it? You had multiple angles going on the spacewalk, didn't you? It was like, who's doing the video? It's like when they took off on the moon, wasn't it? And you see it blasting off. Well, who videoed it when it goes and the camera follows it? Yeah. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Name that character. I don't believe it. And also, I must say, and where is he? He's probably watching anyway. Rick Hayward, hello. Yeah, I think I've said hello to Rick. Thanks to BB. He's probably lurking somewhere. I might be able to get him out somewhere. And it's Mr. Smith in, is he? Good evening, Mr. Smith. Welcome aboard. Great live 4Q. 4Q. Great 4Q from Mr. Smith. And I've got one of his tunes coming up that he did on that show, actually, that I really like. So that'll be coming up in about 20 minutes or so, something like that. Yeah, well done, Mr. Smith. That was a great live event you did there. So well done to you. And I forgot what I was saying now. Oh well, doesn't matter. Yeah, let me have a look at my notes. Oh yeah, BB. Yeah, let's show you. So let's bring it up again. What BB did for this week. My thumbnail this week was another classic from BB. Here we go. Because everybody loves a bit of bully. Look what you could have won. Yes, it's a bullseye, and here's your host, not a Dr. Robert. I'm here with my cat head at the back. Oh dear, somebody help me. Yeah, so there was the on the videos there was the spacewalk, wasn't there? Lots of cats, which Spanish loves as well. And I like the oil thing as well. And Chris said, what's wrong with sunflower oil? Well, it's a vegetable oil. I mean, apparently vegetable oils aren't very good for you. So am I missing something? Maybe. I don't know. Let me have a look on my phone. No, it's fine. It's fine. Let me just turn something off here. Hang on a second. Let's close that. Right. Thank you very much. And you go away as well. Yeah, it's a vegetable oil, Chris, so it's not very good for you. And I thought I found that this week, that bit about vegetable oils and where they originally came from. So I thought you'd quite like that. So again, let me go back to my notes. Oh, and the start of the show, I did show a self-portrait as well. Again, where is it? It's here. Here it is. Look, here's a self-portrait. There we are. That mutt is who I'm going to be looking after from Thursday night. Yes. She was on my show last year. It's my son's dog. It's Ripley. And she's going to wear me out, which I'm quite looking forward to because, it's always fun having a doggy around your house. The only my problem is that I've got a flat and, I can't just like let her out into the garden to go and do her business. So it's just really, really, it's a bit difficult, but she's a good dog. She's getting better and better every week. And so I've got her for 2 weeks. My son, Matt's going to have her, so I've got her this weekend. Next weekend, my son, Matt's going to have her. So I get a little bit of a break and then she's going to be picked up the following Friday, something like that. So so I'm looking forward to having Ripley. I've already bought loads of posh treats for her, and I also want to tell you I've lined up another interview, and I've got a lady called Monica Porter, and Monica Porter, and I've got a little card here actually, and she says that she does balancing body, mind, and spirit. So she's a bit of a healer, and I've had a little bit of a chat with her, and she's a really nice lady, and I think you're going to love her soul and the way that she comes across as well. Yeah, we've had a quick chat, and she's going to appear on the show on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th. So please come and watch that. I think you'll really like Monica. She does distance healing. She's done all sorts of training in healing. So when I met her, I thought she was lovely. And when I spoke to her the other day, she was really, really easy to talk to and easy to listen to. And I think you'll really enjoy her company. And again, I don't know how long she'll be on for. We'll just see how, a bit like the Dale interview, we'll see how it all goes with her. But so I thought I'd let you know about that. That's on Tuesday the 12th. We've got an interview coming up. And this week, so Saturday, I went to a gig and I saw Marty Pellow. Yes, the Marty Pellow. I went to Stratford-upon-Avon and we watched in the Stratford Playhouse. We watched Marty Pellow called Pellow Talk. It was his Pellow Talk. And he's a great talker, but he doesn't do many wet songs when he's on this thing, which was a bit disappointing. He did a lot of covers. He talked about his life. He talked about his journey, and he was really good. Yeah, like a bit disappointed he didn't do more wet songs, and he did just so many covers and rehashed them, obviously. And he was talking about his vinyl collection and about how when he goes into people's houses, he if they've got vinyl, he likes to look at their vinyl, and he can sort of understand where they come from and their journey. And I think I could really sort of understand that and get that what he was getting to, you know, and what he was getting at. It did go on a bit, and he only had a pianist and a guitarist, and I just thought it was a little bit tight. But apparently next year he's doing a proper gig, you know. So Popped In, Sold Out, which was one of his albums. He's doing Popped In, Sold Out because the band no longer together. I think they've fallen out of love with each other. It was okay. It was okay, you know, but it was lovely to go to Stratford-upon-Avon. My son lives there. James lives there with his girlfriend and his dog. And so we went to see them on the Sunday and was able to did a little bit of Christmas shopping. Yeah, just a little bit. They've got a great market in Stratford-upon-Avon, and I really really enjoy it. It was a bit drizzly though. It was a little bit drizzly. But it doesn't matter. But we also in the morning, on the Sunday morning, because I know Spanish loves cats, so I thought, well, I've got to go to Shakes Paws, and Shakes Paws is a cat cafe, and my partner doesn't have any cats, so so she wanted to see some cats and spend some time with cats because she loves cats, just like Spanish. So yeah, we went to Shakes Paws, and you pay £6 to get in, and then you can then just not disturb the cats. You can go up and you can stroke the pussies, stroke those pussies, and then just watch them make themselves fatter than they actually are. So yeah, there was a lot of love going on in Shakes Paws. So if you ever get a chance, go if you're in Stratford-upon-Avon and you're into cats like Spanish is, go to Shakes Paws. You sometimes I think in the summer you'd have to book. We were lucky, we got in, and yeah, and they do a nice coffee as well, which is very nice. There's loads of little coffee houses and things in Stratford-upon-Avon, absolutely loads. It's a lovely little place. I can thoroughly recommend it if you ever. I know I think Cookie lives up that way because it's only about an hour I think from Birmingham, so I think Cookie's up that way. And what I did see as well, which I found fascinating, because you know that I'm into electro culture as well, was the American fountains in the town's marketplace. It's called the American Fountain. It's not, and actually it's not a fountain, right? It's called the Shakespeare Memorial Fountain and Clock Tower, which was presented to the town of Stratford-upon-Avon by American journalist George W. Childs of Philadelphia in 1887, which I don't believe. I do not believe that they brought this thing over. I actually think it's the top of a building that's completely underneath. And the thing is, again, if you looked around Stratford upon Avon, for example, when we went to Shakespeare's, there was a basement in Shakespeare's. You could go down into the basement, and so you think, wow, there must be basements absolutely everywhere, because the basement had an arch either side of the wall. So you think, well, these must be running right underneath, and let's say that was a church that this and I'm going to show you it in a second. Let's say that was a church and it led to that church, but no way do I believe that was given. And look, here it is. I'll show you. There we go. Look, there it is. And yeah, you can see they call it the clock tower. But what I found fascinating, again, was the electro culture on top. And I did a little bit of a close-up as well, so you could see it. And look, can you see the little, I think they're copper dials, like antennas on the top there. So, and that's the sort of thing that I have in my, in my house here. I've got them in some plants. And B, I've got them on my allotment as well. The only thing that's growing there right now is garlic. And there's another photo for you. There you go. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. I thought it was a beautiful building, but no way. I think there's something underneath there. I think that there's a much bigger, magnificent building on top, or underneath rather. Get me top and bottom mixed up. Not difficult for me. Let me get rid of that. Remove from studio. Here we go. And what are you saying in the chat then? What are you saying in the chat? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. People saying hello to Mr. Smith, right? So that's where we got to. Pete and Cookie did a good show last night. Well done, Pete. Cookie. I know Cookie sometimes goes in the chat. Other than that, he just quietly sits there in the background. Yes, Mascara Snake. It was. I don't believe it. Victor Meldrew. Yeah, well done. I'm just looking. Jerry's saying about the NASA video that I showed. That's life, but not as we know it. Shows some brilliant vids on all this NASA crap. Worth a look at. Very knowledgeable lad from Scotland. Is that a YouTube channel then, Jerry? Because I think you've got a. Aren't you an administrator, Jerry? If you can find it, post it. Post it in the chat here. And Nubian, hello Nubian. Some snow sometimes looks like detergent powder and does not melt like it used to, as to remembrance from childhood and earlier times. It's funny you should say that. They've been chemtrailing the skies in the last week, haven't they? Really badly. And I saw a video of them where a guy, he did a live experiment. He scraped his windscreen, and then he pulled it up with something, and he just scraped it up like that. Scraped it up, and then he put it on a piece of paper. He put it down on some piece of paper. And then he got a magnet, and he put the magnet underneath the piece of paper. This was all live. He was doing it. There was no cut in the video or anything. And as he moved the magnet, you could see all the crap that he'd collected from his windscreen was moving around. That's metal particles, isn't it? That's what they're spraying us with. And, if you're in any doubt, I'm just going to show you something. Let's have a look. Bookmarks. Here we go. Let's go down here. Other bookmarks. Here we are. Very nicely posted by BB. I'm just going to share this with you, and I'll put the link also in the chat. So this was a document that came out years ago, and here it is. It's from the Royal Society. Geoengineering the climate, science, governance, and uncertainty. And this was published on the 1st of September 2009. And I recommend you have a look at this if you're interested in chemtrails and things like that. And there's one particular bit that says here, solar radiation management techniques, which reflect a small percentage of the sun's light and heat back into space. These methods act quickly and so may present the only way to lower global temperatures quickly in the event of a climate crisis. However, they only reduce some, but not all, effects of climate change while possibly creating other problems. They also do not affect CO2 levels and therefore fail to address the wider effects of rising carbon dioxide, including ocean acidification. If you fancy having a butcher's, as my Cockney mate would say, I'm going to put this in the chat and share it with you. Here we go. So let's just paste that down there. Here we go. Okay, cool. And then I'll get rid of this as well. There we go. I'm back again. So peruse that as you wish. So lots of geoengineering going on, I would say, this week. So which is not great. Not great. Welcome aboard. It's 8:37. It's Robert. It's not Dr. Robert from Healthfreedom UK. This is my Tuesday live show, and I've got some music coming up very shortly, and then we're going to also do some health stories, and then we'll do we've got a little quiz, but we've also got your questions. Yes, we've got your questions, and I'm going to ask you the first question. I'm going to put the first question in. Here we go. So here's your first question for you. What was your first ever job? So my first ever job, I worked at the RAF Museum in Hendon in London, and I worked in something called the Roundel Buffet. Yes, the Roundel Buffet. And I used to serve food. I used to work behind the counter. And I used to even do some cooking, used to prepare. You didn't need qualifications back then. It was like, Robert, right, come on, your turn to cook the chips, or your turn to prepare the salads, and or your turn to go and clear tables. And it was quite a big little buffet restaurant. It was called the Roundel Buffet, and it was all part of the RAF Hendon, where I used to live down in London. And that was my very first job, and I loved it. It was a great job. I used to work there every Friday and every Saturday and Sundays. So Sunday's not so long, but all day Saturday. And so my life was pretty full, what with going to the indoctrination camp called school. So what was your first job? Tell me what was your first job? And let me go back to the chat then. It was keeping up appearances, Kitty. Yes, absolutely. And Chris says Rippers. Yes, I did a show with Rippers, Chris, last year, as you remember. And Nubian says, anyone feel the global warming summertime, wintertime? Exactly. James says, stopped using veg oil a few years ago. Good man, James. Well done. Look how brown you are, Robert. That's my lighting, Kitty. Yeah, that's my lighting. I can change my brownness. Look, hang on. There we go. I feel like Beyonce now. If you follow the news, you'll get that one. No. Let's have it on. There we go. I like looking brown. Feels like I'm in the summer. Summertime and the living's easy. And Chris is asking, can you feel the difference, James Owen? Right, and Ridiculizer says, I cook with coconut oil. So do I, Ridiculizer. I like to I do my roast potatoes with coconut oil and duck fat as well. I have a lot of reactions to food and find that works best for me. Not smelly or too greasy. Also use it as a face moisturizer and a base for my own toothpaste and deodorant. So do I. I use it as a toothpaste. I make my own toothpaste with bicarbonate of soda, and I put a bit of cinnamon in there, or you can put peppermint. Really easy, isn't it, to make stuff like that? And my salve, which I never go on about, I never talk about, and I can't even see my one here. I use as my deodorant actually nowadays. I don't use deodorants because what are deodorants full of? Aluminium. And what does aluminium make? The big C. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what other people are saying. You will need to walk the dog then. How does that feel for you, says Nubian. Interesting, Nubian. Yes, walk the dog. Very good. And Ridiculizer says it also works well as a lube. I say Ridiculizer. And Nubian's looking forward to my interview with the healer, the healer Monica. Yeah, I think you're going to really like her, Nubian. I actually thought of you, and I thought of Paula as well, and Kitty and Miss Blue Sky, because I thought I know you guys are going to really love her. I know you will. Let's have a look what else has been said here. I'm just going down the chat. I do love to keep up with the chat, as you all really know. People chatting amongst themselves about different stuff. Yeah, Jerry, part of the free energy grid, Rob, that was to do with the antennas that I showed earlier. Absolutely. Rich T, the difference between a skinned cat and a skinned rabbit is 2 extra ribs on the cat. What else is being said here? Let's have a look. I saw something about silence the other day, and how silence is actually, you shouldn't be afraid of silence. I like Steve's silences when Steve does his show. Sometimes he just sits there, doesn't he, silently. There's probably not enough silence in this world. Oh, Kendo talking about, oh, so Kendo, okay, so we're back to the first, what was your first job ever? And Kendo's was, he was a painter and decorator, and he still is, or he was, I don't know if he's still doing it. He hasn't been well. Let's have a look. Apprentice mechanic on lorries was Spanish Chicken, and then he became a plumber. And good evening, Blazing Stars. Hello to you. Blazing, what was your first job? Does a paper round count? It does count, Chris. Good. If not, shelf stacking at Tesco's. See? There we go. You know, it's good. Saturday job in a butcher's, says Mascara Snake. That was I also did have a vegetable. I worked on the in a vegetable shop. Vegetable shop? What's wrong with me? Pete says, does selling weed count? Let's have a look. Mascara uses lard these days. Good mascara. Yeah, I like a bit of lard. Yeah, I love lard. I think lard's a brilliant thing to cook with. Nubian says, as a child, I was hired by mum and her and by her then partner, who had toy stores. Was fun to do present packaging around the Christmas, everything from a small ball to a snow racer. Buyers were happy, and I got a little own cash, she says. Good, excellent. I think it's important to have a job when you're younger. It makes you understand a bit more, doesn't it, about what to expect in this horrible world that we then have to enter after going to the programming place called school. Good evening, Steve to Goose. The legend is here. The man who does random videos about his computer and stuff like that. And then, have you got your thingy sorted out, Steve? You kept losing your sound, didn't you? You kept losing your sound the other day. Did you get that sorted out? Sorry, I'm late. You don't have to apologize, Steve. I was just talking about you, actually. I like your silences sometimes. And Nubian talks about silence. She says the sound of silence is creative, nothing to be afraid of, in my opinion. Absolutely, Nubian. Absolutely. And Blazing's my first job, said Blazing, when I was 10, was polishing my big brother's docks. Okay. Greengrocers. Thank you very much, Steve to Goose. I was struggling to find. And I worked in the greengrocers for a while as well, actually. Yeah. And Nubian also says, I sold newspapers by the doors as a young teen. Also, with the money, me and my mate could buy some candy and go to the cinema. Do you remember as well, right? Let me get rid of the question as well. Let me take that down and let me come back to here. And then let's lose that question. Just 1 second. There it is. Let's lose that. Let's hide that. Do you remember when you used to go out and on Guy Fawkes night? I might have spoken about this before, actually. And you do Penny for the Guy. I mean, I actually think the whole Guy Fawkes story is it's just fantasy now. I don't believe it at all. You know, when you start really going down to the nitty gritty and seeing about the history of it at the time and the gunpowder plot. And I think even Cookie once said that it was probably an insight. He was stitched up, maybe, even if he ever existed. It's a bit like Shakespeare, isn't it? You know, I forget how many books there were of Shakespeare, but my God, you know, how could such a young man write such plays? And apparently he was quite a poor guy. I don't believe the whole Shakespeare thing, but it's a great industry for Stratford upon Avon. And they've got some nasty traffic wardens there as well. You see him there going, when you pull up, you pull up, and he's like this. He's like this. I know you only get 1 hour to stay in the town centre, right opposite McDonald's. If you stay any longer, I'm going to give you one of these tickets, like the one that was shoved in my face 5 minutes ago. Don't you just love Jobsworths? Aren't Jobsworths just the best thing? They're fucking great, aren't they, Jobsworths? Love them to pieces. Good evening. It's 10 to 9. You're watching Not a Dr. Robert on Healthfreedom UK. Coming up are some health stories. We've also got more of your questions, and we've also got a quiz for you, and even an after chat. Yes, you can chat live with me and 9 other lovely people. You don't have to show your face. You don't even have to talk. You can just go into the chat and chat there. And as long as you behave yourself, I won't kick you out. Simple as that. So in the meantime, should we have a tune? Yes, Robert, let's have a tune. Okay. Well, so tonight's first tune is from Mr. Smith, and it's also from someone that he debuted. It was his very first track that he did the other night, and the links are in the show notes. The song is called, I'm just looking for it, Hums the Mockingbird. So it's Mr. Smith and Frank Terzo. And I'm just going to cue it up now and play it for you. So enjoy Hums the Mockingbird, Frank Terzo and Mr. Smith. Thank you very much.
Captivated by her qualities, she walks into a posh boutique, just like a mockingbird. She hums. She hums. She hears a song on the radio, sees all possibilities. Grabs a gear, she starts to play, and just like a mockingbird, she hums. She hums. Hums like a mockingbird. Hums like a mockingbird. Hums like a mockingbird. Hums like a mockingbird. She hums. She hums. Love child from a broken home. A hard life, she's all alone. Dreams fading in the city scene. And just like a mockingbird, she hums.
Wasn't that fucking amazing? Wasn't that a great tune? I love that tune. I actually keep playing it. I really, really like that tune. So thank you to Mr. Smith for introducing us to Frank Turzo and that wonderful track, Hums the Mockingbird. What a lovely, lovely track. I saw Steve make a comment there about he misses playing with a drummer. Steve, come on, do a dual, live thing with Mr. Smith. There's loads of musicians amongst us here. Even I rattle about on the piano a bit. I've started on a new tune actually, as well. Another little piano ditty, but for my special birthday next year, people are all going to be chipping in for a nice expensive keyboard stroke piano, electric piano, and I'm going to start laying down my tunes onto that and multi-layering them and stuff like that. And I might even see if Mr. Smith might want to put some drums over one of them. My tunes are a little bit sleepy, but you never know. But yeah, there's some great music. I mean, we got Days, Ridiculizer. He produces his own stuff. Someone put Ridiculizer's channel in on the comments here as well. One of the administrators, Spanish, if you can do it, maybe. Let's promote people. Ridiculizer's got some good music as well. Steve, of course, the legend Steve Tagoose, who plays every Thursday for us, plays guitar, and occasionally he'll pop on cheekily at a weekend. So yeah, I hope you. All the comments were so positive, weren't they? They really were, really positive. So great tune. We'll have to see if we can find another Frank Turzo tune. Hey, let's have a look. People saying, "Well done, Mr. Smith." Really enjoying that, and yeah, they're even doing a few of these. Lovely tune. Yeah, if you want to check out Frank, I put his link in the show notes as well, in case anyone's interested. So I'm sure you're all interested. Let's have a look. And James has put the link in for Ridiculizer. Thank you, James. That's very good of you. Thank you. We need a credit roll for the links. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. I was going to say to you, I also, on the Sunday, I went to visit my son, James. I had the most amazing lasagna. And he adds a secret ingredient into his lasagna. And it's a bit of Marmite. He puts a bit of Marmite in. And I have to say, it was just a superb lasagna. It's the first time he's ever cooked for me. And I was so made up, I did actually say to him, can you cook me a meal, me and my partner a meal? And he did, and it was lovely. It was really, really lovely. So if James is watching, but I don't think he is, he's probably getting ready to go on holiday because he's off to Florida. So he's dropping the doggy off at his brother's house, Matt, tomorrow. And then I'm picking the dog up on Thursday. And then, yes, thank you very much, Spanish Chicken. That's a nice reminder. Spanish says, 23 watching, smash the likes, you Muppets. Or Kitty can do it in another way as well. If you are enjoying the great show, do hit the like button. Thumbs up, boys and girls. Thank you very much. That's great. What's Mascara saying? They'll get you drumming and you'll meet some great new friends at New Bean. Oh, it's for New Bean. He's chatting to New Bean. Lovely. Excellent. So yeah, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. And what else was I going to tell you? So I did that. Yeah, there was something else. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to tell you as well. Before we do some health stories, I know you're here for the health stories. I know you are. But you're here to chat to me as well, and I love that. I want you to try and guess what this is. You ready? This is not the full length of it, okay? So I want someone just to try and, yeah, Marmite, Blazing Stars. He put Marmite in. So what's this? Anyone know what this is? This is my new toy. Anyone know what it is? Who's going to be first to tell me? Eh? What's this then? A fire alarm tester, says Chris. I like that's a good answer, actually. That's very good. Oh, people are telling Newbeam what Marmite is. Yeah, it's yeast extract, Newbeam. What's this? Come on. A French tickler for a giant, says Kendo. A cat stand, says Steve to Goose. A spider catcher, says Ridiculizer. There we go, yeah. Oh, I'll keep it. There we are. It's that one. There we are. Spider catcher. Very good. Acoustic cannon, says Spanish chicken. Pete says, I've seen those on OnlyFans. Oh, so you're the one who watches OnlyFans then, Pete. Ah. And Rich T says, is it a ULEZ camera remover? Yeah, I like the idea of that. Yes. Actually, right. This, okay, is to get my apples down. This is to get your apples from no more of those apples at the top of the tree going to keep away from me. And I've already tested it out and I made 3 bottles of apple juice with it. Yeah, it is Blazing Stars. It's an apple catcher, exactly. And it's an apple grabber. It's a fruit picker, as Kendo says. Yeah, exactly. It is. And it works brilliantly. It's got a little soft bit here. Look, there we go. I'll have to do a video, but I can't do a video on my own. I need someone to video me making a fool of myself outside my Morrison's food store, right? And they've got 2 apple trees, and I love going there. And just the fact that they sell apples in Morrison's, and then I just go there and I just and pull my apples down, bring it home, bring my apples over home, and then within 15 minutes I've made apple juice. It's bloody brilliant. So yeah, NASA water purifier, says Jerry. That's a good answer. Yes, I know Spanish. It's winter, for fuck's sake. But guess what? There's still apples on the tree. And I got some last week. They were the last ones. So I got me fruit picker a little bit late. But guess what? You can actually also get other sorts of things down from there. Like chestnuts. Roasting on an open fire. Do, 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 do. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. And tonight's wine, ladies and gentlemen, 24 people watching this wonderful show. Tonight's wine, ladies and gentlemen, is this cheeky little JP Chenet. Yes, it's a Cabernet Syrah, and it's rather delicious. And you get, they're £2.25 each. Get a nice large glass. And if you buy 4, you only pay for 3. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Tickling my tonsils for the first tune. Oh, and I took my mum to the doctors today as well. And the good news is that he told my mum that I do know a lot, because I said, can we get my mum's medication reduced? And she said, you can't tell the doctor that. And the doctor said, well, he does know quite a lot. And then he said to her, I think we can reduce your medication. And he cut one of her medications down in half, which is great. And my mum's feeling so much better. And she's 88 years of age. And it made me very happy. So, you've got to look after your mum. Spanish is very good at looking after his mum. I went round to my mum's. I took my Hoover, my Dyson, because she can't use a Hoover. So I took my Dyson. I hoovered all around her house for her, and then I took her shopping, and then I took her to the doctors, and then took her home, and yeah, she was very happy. And the doctor's doing a lot for her at the moment. I'm very impressed with him. You know, I'm not into. Thank you, James. I'm not into doctors, but this doctor is listening, and he's quite respectful, and I like the way that he's dealing with my mum. So, and I'll keep going to the doctor with my mum to help support her, but she's feeling so much better. So I'm really happy to report that. So you got to look after your mums, because you never know when they're going to go. You know, my dad went a long time ago. So what's the most important story that's been coming out at the moment? It's this one, isn't it? That's come out. Let me share it with you. Here it is. Yep, it's a swine flu. UK detects first human case of a new strain. Let's zoom into this. Health officials are investigating the first confirmed case of a new strain of swine flu in the UK. The H1N2 variant infection was detected in a routine flu screening test at a GP surgery in North Yorkshire. Officials said the person had respiratory symptoms, a mild illness, and had fully recovered. They are not known to have worked with pigs, and investigations will look at where the infection came from and its risk to human health. Human infections with swine flu viruses do occur. There have been 50 cases of H1N2 reported globally in the past 20 years. There was a case reported in the United States in August. The infection found in the UK is slightly different from recent human cases of swine flu globally, health officials say, but similar to viruses in UK pigs. In 2009, there was a pandemic of swine flu in humans caused by a virus spreading in pigs, birds, and humans. The UK Health Security Agency, how horrible is that name? And, what's the... I forget the expression. UK Health Security Agency said it planned to increase surveillance through GP surgeries and hospitals in parts of North Yorkshire. Yeah, so there was the swine flu, wasn't there? The H1N1 that occurred in back in 2009, and then they brought out a Britney Spears for that one, didn't they? And they gave the Britney Spears to people, and they all ended up with narcolepsy. And it actually did knock a few people out, if I remember rightly, and they had to stop the Britney Spears. So I think 50 people passed away. Yeah, and then they said, "Oh, we better stop this." Yeah. And that does lead me into another story as well, actually, and that is this one as well. Let's again share this with you. And there's now a vaccine to tackle bronchiolitis causing winter cough virus could be offered to children and the elderly on the NHS next year. And a jab to protect against one of the most common winter bugs will be offered to children and older adults within a year, a top vaccine chief has revealed. How lovely of them. And I wonder why things like H1N2 are coming back. Anything to do with a certain medical treatment they might have given us a little while ago? The government's inoculation advisory group recommended in June that an immunisation programme be rolled out against respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, best known for causing the lung infection bronchiolitis in children. I had bronchitis as a child. 3 highly effective RSV vaccines have been given the green light for use in the UK, including one developed by drug firm Pfizer that was approved last week by the Medicines and Healthcare Regulations Agency for use in adults over 60 and pregnant individuals to help protect their infants. I must tell you a story actually as well in a second. But according to Professor Adam Finn, a child vaccine expert, a member of the government's Joint Committee on Vaccination and immunisation, the rollout won't begin until next year due to delays by health officials in working out a deal with the vaccine manufacturers. He said, we've gone from having no RSV vaccine to having several highly effective options in the space of a few years. And it says here, children are vulnerable, adult and vulnerable adults could soon receive a breakthrough vaccine to protect them. And there's a very poorly child. There we go. Look, there we are. Lovely. Really pull at your heartstrings there. Officials now have to decide which jabs to use and then negotiate a price. After that, the drug companies need to manufacture the vaccines and ship them to the UK. Unfortunately, this process won't be done in time for winter, but given the clear need for this jab, I'm hopeful that by next year, patients will be offered a jab. The charity Asthma and Lung UK last week called the government to deliver the jabs as soon as possible after a number of children hospitalised with the bug quadrupled within just a month. It hospitalises about 30,000 children and 18,000 adults each year, but until recently, no valid vaccine has been developed. So it goes on, yeah, and there you go. That's about it, really. I mean, again, all I would say is, you know, why is there again another need for yet another jab? It's one big club, and we're not part of it, but they do want to shove another thing in people's arms. And again, why is there so many people getting ill right now? And is it anything to do with that thing that happened in 2020? So I think there's something to do with it. And talking of that thing that happened, so me and my partner went and stayed in an Airbnb. And it was very nice. The lady was very nice that looked after us and welcomed us into her home. And as we were leaving on the Sunday, you know, we went to say goodbye to her, and she had a cold sore on her lip, and it started bleeding. She went, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." She said, "You know, I've just got this," and she said, "Oh, I had me Divok and my flu vaccine last week, and I've become so ill." I wonder why. I didn't say a word. You know, if people want to go and have their jabs, then let them go and have their jabs. That's what I feel. But yeah, I felt sorry for her, actually. She was a really nice lady, and I just thought now's not the appropriate time to start trying to explain to her why I wouldn't recommend that she did have any more. But there you go. People have got to make their choices, haven't they, in life? Simple as that. What you been saying? What you been saying in the chat? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Dead apples, says Spanish Chicken. No, they're not dead apples. They were lovely apples, and they've made lovely apple juice. Thank you very much, you cat lover, you. Kendo says, my doctor is about as much use as a chocolate teapot. I always love that expression, Kendo. My mum's expression is, time flies, said the old woman as she threw her clock out the window. Yeah, we never needed it before, Spanish. You're absolutely right, mate. And again, it is that time of year, you know, the sun's gone away. Get some vitamin D into your body. It's not medical advice. It's just talking. But yeah, get the vitamin D spray. That's the best way to get vitamin D into your body. Spray it under your tongue, and also maybe some zinc as well. That helps protect your immune system. Okay, I think so. We've caught up there. Good. Should we have another story? Yes. Okay. All right then. So here's another story for you. This is really bad, actually. And again, I think this is a consequence of what happened in 2020. And it's really sad that people are having to fork out their own money as well now. So how NHS waiting lists are driving patients to cash in pensions or sell their homes to pay for operations desperately needed. Several million and growing. That's the number of people how now on waiting lists for NHS treatment, ranging from cancer checks to replacing arthritic hips and heart surgery. These delays can mean living with pain or debilitating symptoms that make everyday life difficult. A 6-month wait for an operation can also result in 50% greater chance of a worse outcome, according to projections reported in the journal Pain Reports in 2022. Little wonder why more and more people are now opting to go private, and not just those who have insurance cover. According to the Private Healthcare Information Network, the number of those without private health insurance in the UK who chose to pay for treatment from their own pocket swelled from 199,000 in 2019 to 272,000 last year. But even simple procedures can cost thousands of pounds. The Care Quality Commission recently warned some patients are paying for care they cannot afford, and so making cutbacks in other parts of their family budget. Rachel Power, Chief Executive of the Patients Association, said they hear from many patients facing lengthier waits who feel they have no choice but to pay for private care. When you have to borrow money to dip into savings to pay for care privately because you're unable to wait until the NHS can treat you, there isn't really a choice. She told Good Health. And these sobering interviews, 5 people explain why they choose to take drastic measures, including cashing in a pension and selling their home to pay for treatment rather than risk their health. Cashed in a pension to fund heart op. Morgan Lee Stevens, 65, an accommodation advisory consultant, lives in Loughton in Essex with her partner Lee, a cab driver. She says, in January 2022, I was told I urgently need an operation to replace a damaged heart valve. I had severe aortic stenosis, where your aortic valve in the heart narrows. I wonder why she got that. Any guesses in the chat? I was told the risk is that it puts pressure on your heart, leading to heart failure, or worse, your heart just stops. I was put on a waiting list and told I might wait 4 to 6 months, but I was deteriorating all the time and was so breathless that I could hardly. I had to give up my job, manage a retirement complex because it required me to climb a lot of stairs. I wonder, whilst retiring, working as a retirement complex, she had to have the Britney Spears. I also had to stop going to the gym, which I'd been doing 3 times a week because I was scared the exertion would put too much stress on my heart. And she goes on to say that basically, I was shocked to discover the operation replacing the faulty valve cost £45,000, but in the end, I didn't have a choice. Cashing in my pension was my only option, apart from selling my house. So it cost her 45 grand. Then there's another person here. Hysterectomy wait, but my brother paid. Annabelle Buff, 45, a PR consultant, lives in County Durham with her husband. Says, my brothers helped me save my life. I learned in October that cysts on my ovaries were likely to turn cancerous and I need a full hysterectomy, removing my ovaries, cervix and womb. This is because there was cancer growing in my cysts. And then she goes on to talk about it. And let's see, blah, 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 blah. And then it says the hysterectomy would have cost, would cost $7,300 privately. I could never afford it. Days later, I broke down in tears whilst on the phone to my brother who lives in the US. He asked me how much it would do to go private. When I said that much, he misheard and said 70,000 living in America. He's used to high medical bills. He offered to send me the money. I was so grateful. The following day, I contacted the private hospital and my operation was done within 3 weeks. This makes you laugh, doesn't it? Right? These doctors, that they're not. So they work for the NHS and they work privately, but it just makes me sick. It really does. Gemma Craze 40 works in the glass store, lives in Truro, Cornwall with her husband. I was fit running marathons, always on the go. But in 2019, I was hit with a terrible pain in my hip and leg. Assuming I injured myself, X-ray revealed a hip dysplasia where the ball and the joint aren't formed properly, a risk of arthritis. And then she goes on to say that she needed a hip replacement. I couldn't face another 2-year wait. Although my mobility was better, it still hurt to walk or run. Desperate, I looked into private surgery. It cost £13,000, money we didn't have. Here we go. So I refused, but insisted. When I talked about it with my mum, she runs the glass shop where I work. She simply said, "I'll pay," and there we are. And then my pension and GoFundMe paid for 63,000 and a half drug. Elaine Lynch, 59, a retired school business manager, lives in Solihull, West Midlands, with partner Chris, 61. I was sent for tests and I started coughing up blood and went from thinking I was fit and healthy to being diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in September 21. Oh, what a coincidence, just after 2020, which had spread to my neck. I had chemotherapy, immunotherapy and radiotherapy, but the tumors then spread to my brain. My consultant said the cancer was caused by a rare mutation and the best drug available to prolong life was this particular drug, I'm not going to say it, which stops the cancer cells growing. I asked him if someone in his family was in my position, what would he do? Without hesitation, he said, take the drug. He said it was a licensed drug and it was licensed in the UK only for breast cancer caused by the same mutation as mine. I was stunned by the price, £9,000 per treatment every 3 weeks. And there's the lady, I believe. And my family were adamant I was getting that drug. I had a small pension from working in education 24 years. This was amazing, but the drug was making me very ill. So the dose was lowered. This meant the cost went down down, and now I'm paying £7,000 every 3 weeks. This is unsustainable, and we discussed selling the house, but the children said they wanted to set up a GoFundMe page. This is awful, isn't it? It really is awful. So there you go. I'm fighting cancer with every ounce of strength I have, but I'm also fighting to get the drug I need. I've written to MPs, drug companies, hospital CEOs, not just for me, but others who've paid into the system all their lives only to find it abandons them in the time of need. Well, if we didn't have lockdown, you might have got this treatment that you needed. And so, yeah, that I think is a very sad story. But again, like I said to you, it's something that, you know, is the NHS seems to be falling apart, and people are slowly picking out all the good bits and making as much money as they possibly can from it. And I just feel so sorry for people. And this is one of the reasons why. And I knew that when we went into lockdown, I could see what was going to happen. When they started pausing everything, I knew that it would just be a slow build up and backlog. I mean, it was so obvious anyway. And now I think that one of the things I believe is it was part of the reason why we had it, to perhaps, you know, bring in privatization. And the other thing is you have to address as well is that anyone can come over into this country and access NHS treatment that people have been paying into through their national insurance payments in this country for most of their working lives, and yet you can come here and get NHS treatment completely free. Well, and can you now? You know, I mean, the backlog of treatment is, I mean, my mum's waiting to have an endoscopy done, and so far she's been waiting 2 months. So, and the doctor's now written to the hospital saying, can we speed up the process? But still nothing, absolutely nothing. But this is one of the reasons why I say to people, you've got to become your own health specialist and look for all treatments, alternative treatments. You know, look for treatments to do with the big C, you know, look for those treatments, because there are alternative things out there that can help you. And also, you know, try and avoid getting these sort of illnesses, like, drink cleaner water, avoid vegetable oils and things like that. Try and take vitamin C every day. Try and take some fish oils every day. Try and take some vitamin D to keep your bones strong and things like that. And again, there's so many little things. Just start some little changes, because I believe that this system is going to just collapse. I really do, and it's one of the reasons why I make my salve. I know there's someone in that comes on this show that was having pain levels of, they ask you, don't they? Oh, what's your pain level? From 0 to 10, and they were getting sometimes pain levels of 8 or 9, and now they've come off all their meds where they were getting arthritic pains, and they're just using my salve on their body, and their pain levels come down to 4, and they're no longer putting drugs into their body. So there are alternatives, and it's not just about boasting about what I make and stuff like that. It's about saying to people, look, you can look for alternatives. There are alternatives out there. If you want to find them, they're there. So go looking for them and become your own specialist. There's so much help on the internet, or asking this wonderful chat that we've got going on here. There's people will always try and help you. Come, stick with the show, and you'll get lots of advice that I can't necessarily say as well in this on this live show, because otherwise I'll get given a suspension, a ban, or whatever. And I want to try and just encourage people to look after their own health. And if I can stay here and do this and entertain you every Tuesday, and this is the Health Freedom UK show. This is my live show I do every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And I encourage you to come into the chat and chat with me. And talking of the show, I ask you questions. Yes, I ask you questions. And I've got your next question here. And here it is. Here's your next question for this week. Following on from what was your first job, did you love or hate school? I can tell you the answer for mine. I hated school. I hated school. I never liked school, and I know why I'm so rebellious now. Never liked school. I really didn't like school at all. It was just something that I just found. I kept questioning people, and questioning the teachers, and and I know why I'm in this community now. And I watch shows like Pete and Cookie and Steve and Jimmy's show, and shout out to Jimmy if you're watching, Jim. I hope you're okay, mate. I did send you a message on Telegram, but I don't think you've read it yet. But I hope Jimmy comes back soon. And I think it's why the sort of people that watch this show as well, we're free thinkers, aren't we? We're free thinkers. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Anyway, let's have a drink here. I'm just going to look at the chat. So Kitty says hated school. Pete says loved to hate it. And coming back to my story, Rich T says NHS has lost all credibility in my eyes. Yep, absolutely, mate. And Kitty says that's the best way to go heal yourself, and not the doctors, because they're full of shit. Absolutely. So mascara got out at 16. Spanish says no one's leaving this flat alive. Just enjoy the ride. And Nubian says I couldn't wait to start school. Yeah, some people loved it. Some people absolutely love school. And Kitty got thrown out at 15. Rick says I was out at 14 and found a job. I wanted to get out at 14 and just go and find a job, Rick. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Blazing says I hated it. Had a daggers card before it was a thing. Okay, I don't know what a daggers card is, Blazing. I don't know what a daggers card. I'm sure you do though. Rich says, school was a war of survival for me. It prepared me for the outside world well. Yeah, I suppose there is. I think what you learn in school, don't you, is that teachers can be like bosses. That's what I learned. And but bosses can sack you. Teachers don't sack you, do they? But bosses can sack you. You're sacked. There's a question. Have you ever been sacked from a job? I have. I lost my job as a car salesman. I was a crap car salesman selling crap cars, Austin Rover, Mini Metros, Maestros, and Montenegos, or Montegos, as we used to call them, Montenegos. We did have Minis as well. They were a good car. I liked the Mini. One of my first cars was a Mini. Oh, what was your first car? There you go. There's another question for you. So Nubian found it boring to have summer leave before starting school. Very conditioned. Well, you're not now, Nubian, are you? I've had a hard time deprogramming and reprogramming. Yep. I think we all have. It's that wake up moment. Spanish said school was shit. Absolutely, mate. That's how I felt about it. I can't imagine being in school now, says Starfish, says Pete. And Ridiculizer says, proudly sacked from 11 jobs in 2 years. Used to do the training, then go on the sick. Excellent. Round of applause. Hang on. That deserves a round of applause. That really does. I love that comment. That's very good. That was until college. Body protested, made me physically ill. Oh, you poor thing. But, you know, we all learn from our illnesses, don't we? We all learn from our illnesses. Spanish chicken, I like the mini skirt, not the mini car. No, I haven't. Has Robert already discussed the health benefits of working 5 nights in a row? I've told you this, Mr. Chris. I've told you this. It's not good working nights. Why isn't it, Robert, good working nights? Because it messes up all your serotonin and your melatonin levels, okay? So we're meant to sleep at night and we're meant to be awake during the day. And if you're awake during the day and you're asleep during the day and awake at night, you're going to mess up all your body clock. So it's not good for you. And let me tell you something. As a diabetic retinal screener, when I worked at the NHS as a diabetes specialist, I saw a lot of people that worked nights that got diabetes. And that's because you're eating at the wrong hours as well. And you're not getting your vitamin D. So it's not good for you. It really isn't. But I'm sure that you won't do it forever. And Kendo's first was a Ford Anglia van. That was his first vehicle. And Chris asked me, Robert, have you ever walked out on a job? Yeah, I have. I think I tried selling kitchens once. Nah, I was no good at it. I'm no good at the old technical drawing and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's all done on computers. But yeah, I did walk out on that job, Chris. Yeah. Have you walked out of a job? Anyone walked out? Spanish Chicken says, yes, Chris. Walked out on the NHS. I think he means me, I think. I think some individuals might have... it's gone. Hang on. God, the chat's working, going fast. I think some individuals might have a great life working nights. in my honest opinion. Chris's first car was a Fiat Panda 55 SX. Nice. And Miss Blue Skies decided to join us. Hi, not a Dr. Robert, guys. I had a cheeky snooze and just woke up and missed the show. It's okay, Miss Blue Sky. Everyone was talking about you, but don't worry. It was all good stuff. There's a lot. Listen, ask Spanish, because he loves cats. There's a lot of cat videos, which I know you particularly like, right at the beginning of the show. So do watch the replay of the show. And if you are watching the show, welcome aboard. My name's not a Dr. Robert. This is your Tuesday Surgery. This is my alternative health show. It's got music. It's got questions. It's got health stories. It's got a little quiz at the end, and it's even got an after show chat. Welcome aboard, and thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. I've only been going a year, but we've nearly hit 300 subscribers. So I'm very proud of that. I'm really proud of that. And Mascara's first car was an Austin no power Metro. And Manda's just joined us. Hello from Newcastle, and a fine premiere in, brief business trip away. Just popped in to say a late hello. Business trip. Yeah, all right. Newcastle, the nightlife's good in Newcastle. And what is ridiculous? It says, that's me up. I work 10 to 12 in the mornings taking care of someone, then from about 9 p.m. or to 10 doing gigs. Oh, well done, Ridiculizer. Good on you, mate. We have to do what we have to do, doesn't it, mate? But I think you live abroad, don't you? So you probably get quite a lot of sun as well, mate. People saying hello. Pete's first car was a BMW 315. Nice car. Nice car. My first car was a Ford. Is it a Ford Capri? Ford Capri. And then I had a Ford Granada. Then I had my I had a Mini after that. People saying hello to Miss B there. I walked out of a lab job in Burwell. I remember going out and getting pissed on the Tuesday night and just never went in on the Wednesday. Oh, those were the days when you could just walk out of jobs, isn't it? Do you remember? You could just walk out of a job and go and find another job. Nowadays, it's bloody hard to find a job because there's so many people in this country in particular, all over, I think all over Europe. There's so many people because of the migrant crisis. Is that now, it's pretty hard to find a job, and they're not increasing the pay either. Kitty's first car was a Metro. And let's have a look. Oh, so Ridiculizer has a wee siesta as well in the afternoons. I think I've got circadian polyrhythms. And Spanish says it all. Jobs are really shit. Are shit, really. Yeah. Unless you do something that you really love, unless you're doing something you really love, I think they are. You're right. I've got another question if we get time anyway. I think I've got one more health story. I'm not sure. Let me just have a quick look. Let me have a look. What have I got here? Done that one. Oh yeah. No, it's not a health story. So what it is, so I've my partner's just invested in me buying an air fryer. Now, air fryers are the new thing that A, to help save you money, and B, to be able to cook your food quicker and things like that. But I had some concerns about how healthy they were, because I'd heard that there can be some problems. So I pulled up an article and I wanted to share it with you because you might be thinking of getting an air fryer. I'm very lucky. I've just been bought a Ninja, which is one of these top of the range ones, and I'm going to be using it. I haven't even unboxed it yet. So, but here's an article, and again, all links to all my stories and the music and everything are in the show notes that you can see. So This is, are air fryers bad for you? Benefits and risks of cancer. There have been reports questioning whether air fryers are bad for you and if they pose a risk of cancer. Whilst air fryers themselves don't cause cancer, air frying does produce compounds called acrylamides. Let's see if it says it. Look. Acrylamides, which are probable carcinogens, cancer-causing agents. Air fryers are beneficial in that they give you the taste and texture of deep-fried foods, but with minimal oil, reducing your risk of heart disease. The small amount of oil also reduces your exposure to acrylamides when compared to cooking in a deep fryer. This article explores the benefits and risks of air fryers and the possible risk of cancer if you regularly consume foods like French fries and fried chicken. Okay, so air fryers versus deep fry. Air fryers differ from deep fryers as they essentially work as a countertop convection oven. To air fry foods, a heating element near the top of the fryer emits heat into the cooking chamber. A high-speed fan simultaneously circulates tiny oil droplets and hot air around the food. This results in a cooking method that is closer to frying than baking. Air fryers use very little oil compared to deep fryers. However, they tend to take longer to fry foods, especially larger pieces like chicken breast, because the oil used in deep fryers has a higher specific heat than the heated air used in air fryers. Okay. Benefits of air frying. Generally speaking, air frying is regarded as being healthier than deep frying. This is especially true given the link between fried foods and heart disease. A 2021 analysis of 19 studies concluded that the high consumption of fried foods was linked to a 22% risk of coronary artery disease, a 37% risk of heart failure, and 37% risk of a stroke. There are other potential benefits of air frying: improved weight control. The regular consumption of fried foods is linked to obesity. A 2015 review published in Nutrients reported that eating fried foods more than 4 times per week increases your risk of obesity by 37%. Compared to eating fried foods less than twice weekly. This food, not surprisingly, given the 100-gram serving of French fries contains 2.7 grams of saturated fat, the type that clogs arteries. And I'm not convinced by that. And it goes on to say that obesity in itself is linked to many diseases, type 2 diabetes, stroke, blah blah blah, and all these other things here. Reduced exposure to reheated oil. With air fryers, a few tablespoons of oil is all needed to fry food. With deep frying, or none at all. For example, if you're doing a chicken, you don't need any oil at all on the chicken. You really don't, because the chicken's full of fat. Not only is more oil used, but there's also a greater risk of reusing and reheating oil. This poses certain health risks. Whenever cooking oil is heated at high temperature, it changes its composition and releases potentially carcinogenic chemical called acrylene. Should we hear how we say that? Acrylene. Oh, acrylene. Acrylene. There we go. If the oil is repeatedly used, referred to as thermically abused oil, more acrylene is produced. And of course, where do they reproduce oil? In chip shops and chicken shops and stuff like that. Thermically abused oils have a number of detrimental effects. The inhalation of ingestion of reused oils can cause chromosomal changes that can lead to cancer. And then it goes on and talks about studies. So according to research commissioned by the National Fire Protection Association, grills and deep fryers cook more. So air fryers and cancer. Here we go. Reheated oil is potentially carcinogenic, but so too is the process of deep frying. The two biggest concerns are potential carcinogens called acrylamides and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Try saying that after you've had a couple of glasses of wine. Or PAHs that are created in the process of cooking. Acrylamides is a carcinogen that can form in certain foods during high temperature cooking methods such as frying, roasting, and baking. Acrylamides do not come from the cooking oil itself, but rather when sugar and an amino acid called asparagine are exposed to extremely high temperatures. Acrylamide also forms in cigarette smoke. So it goes on to talk about it, and it goes on, keep going on. There we go. In summary, there is evidence that deep frying is associated with the production of carcinogens that can lead to different types of cancer. These include probable carcinogens like acrylamide or acrylamides, and the PAHs. There is a potential risk of the same with air frying, although it is thought to be substantially less because only a small amount of oil is used. The cooking oil isn't aerosolized during cooking, and cooking oil is not reused, which is frequently the case with deep frying. There you go. What's the other thing that I would say about any things like that, like the fryers and things like that, is like pans, you mustn't scratch the surfaces. And if you scratch and damage the surface, that's when it can become dangerous. So avoiding anything like that is really good. Clean it with just a cloth, and they clean really, really easy. You can just use apple cider or white vinegar with bicarbonate of soda as well. That's something that I use a lot as well. I've been using an air fryer. I've used air fryers before, and I think they're a great idea. What do you think? What do you think of air fryers? Let's have a look what you've been saying. Let's have a look. Let's go up here. Oh, so Ridiculizer says straight away, I've seen that one. I threw mine out. Okay. Okay. There we go. And he's saying, watch out for the Teflon in the air fryers. Yeah, if you damage it, then I would say the best thing to do is to throw it out or get a new compartment for it. Yeah, been looking for a bread maker, but hard to find without Teflon. Need no one. Well, make it yourself, Days. You can make bread yourself. It's quite an easy process. You don't necessarily need a bread maker, but a bread maker is nice and easy, isn't it? So Blazing is saying deep fried chips are healthier than air fried, all to do with temperature and time. Okay. Kitty says air fryers don't cause cancer. Microwaves do. Well, microwaves, I would agree with you there. I do not have a microwave, and if I had a microwave, I'd throw it out. I really would not use a microwave oven. The carcinogens in the air fried chips is worse, says Blazing. And James is saying because people use seed oils. Absolutely right. If you use the right oil, then, and again, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other is the expression, isn't it? Nubian says, I tried an air fryer for the first time recent summer. Fries tasted good and had a nice crisp. Yep. A lot of the reports, you go on YouTube and look at some of them. You get some really good results. This article is sponsored by Air Fryer trademark. Yeah, absolutely. I did do some research though, Pete, and it's most people are saying they're pretty safe. Everything that I've seen, but again, everyone should make up their own choices. And James says I got rid of all my Teflon pans. Yeah, I use either stainless steel or I use something that's clean. Iron pans are very good, aren't they? Cast iron pans. James says my air fryer has no Teflon on it. What make you got, James? Out of interest. Jay says Teflon, when heated, releases forever chemicals which stay in your system forever, apparently. Well, again, we detox, don't we? And that's like saying that I don't know. Someone point me to a study about that. Someone point me to a study about that. I'm really not. I'm really not sure. Mascara says lard is the way. Yeah. And Nubians very wisely says maybe everything causes whatever disease you think it does. Yep. If you think, again, it's about energy, isn't it? If you think something's going to cause you harm, my son, for example, Matt, he's starting to think like me now. He says his mate was full of cold and everything, and he was sitting in the van with him, and he was coughing and sneezing, and Matt said, "I'm not going to get this." He was convinced he wasn't going to get this, and he didn't. He didn't get anything, and so therefore, he's sitting right next to him. They're sharing each other's air and things like that, and he didn't get anything. He's fine. Pete uses the space shuttle to cook. Does the space shuttle really exist? Cheers, everyone. What have we got coming up? We've got coming up a quiz for you. Yes. We've got a quiz coming up for you. Different quiz to normal, but similar. It's very difficult to find something that I can work with you guys with, But thanks for watching tonight. So we've got the quiz coming up now. Then we've got another piece of music, and then we've got an after chat. So not long to go now. It's been very nice spending the evening with you and chatting with you and sharing my knowledge and my silly videos and my silly chat as well. But let's have a look then at this week's quiz, shall we? Yes, let's look at the quiz. Okay, so this week's quiz, let me present it. Here we go. This is where is it? Here we are. Okay, so this is called quizglobal.com. Okay, and here we are. This is UK US #1 songs that made it to the top of the chart simultaneously in the UK and the US. Remember these? So shall we start? We have 18 questions, and these are people that I quite like this. People have put these quizzes together, and you can do the same. Apparently, you can create a quiz and put it together. So I might even try doing this myself as well for you lovely people out there. So let's have a look then. Let's play manually, shall we? Yes. Okay. So who had the #1 hit Viva La Vida in 2008? Was it Coldplay, REM, The Killers, or Snow Patrol? Was it Coldplay, REM, The Killers, or Snow Patrol? I know you're 10 seconds behind me. Ridiculous says Coldplay. Nubian Coldplay. Coldplay. James says Coldplay. I think you all think it could be Coldplay, and I think you could be right. Absolutely. Yeah, and 73% people got this right when they tried it. Next question. Who had the #1 hit I'll Be Missing You in 1997? Was it Pink, Puff Daddy and Faith Evans, Michael Jackson, or Madonna? Who had the #1 hit I'll Be Missing You in 1997? Pink, Puff Daddy, Faith Evans, Michael Jackson, or Madonna? Spanish loves Coldplay. Puff Daddy says Manda. Spanish says Puff. Yeah, Puff Daddy. We're getting some Puff Daddies. We're getting some Puff Daddies answers here. Rich T says Puff Daddy. Let's have a look, shall we? I think you're all right, actually. I think it is Puff Daddy, and it is. Absolutely. Who had the #1 hit with Don't Go Breaking My Heart in 1976? Do I really need to ask you? Was it Elton John and Kiki D, Simon and Garfunkel, or Sting? I think you all know the answer to this. Is it A, B, or C? I think you all know the answer. James Owen says A. Mascara says A. Amanda says Elton and Kiki. Pete says Elton and Kiki. Yeah, I think we all know it was Elton and Kiki. Yep. 87% people got that right. Next question. Question 4. Everything I do it for you in 1991. This was number 1 when my son was born. I'll never forget it. Was it Michael Jackson? Was it Elton John, Rod Stewart, or Bryan Adams? Everything I do it for you. It was also the theme tune from Robin Hood. Who do you think sung that? Bryan Adams says Spanish. Bryan Adams says Ridiculizer. Bryan Adams. Yep, we're getting Bryan Adams. Okay. Yeah, I think it was Bryan Adams, wasn't it? Indeed, it was. And Bridge Over Troubled Water. Was it the Bee Gees, Simon & Garfunkel, Dolly Parton, and Kenny Rogers? Bridge Over Troubled Water. Who's first in? Simon & Garfunkel says Spanish Chicken. Simon & Garfunkel says Mascara. Nubin says Simon & Garfunkel. Blazing says Simon & Garfunkel. Yeah, I think we all know it was Simon & Garfunkel, don't we? Absolutely. Question 6. You Are Not Alone in 1995. Who had this hit? You Are Not Alone. Was it Cher? Was it Cliff Richard? Was it Puff Daddy? Or was it Michael Jackson? You Are Not Alone. Who sang it? Amanda says Michael Jackson. Mascara says D. A, B, C. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson says Nubin, Ridiculizer. And Rich T says Jacko. Kendo says Jacko. Yeah, everyone's saying Jacko. You are not alone. I am here with you. And who wrote it, though? Who wrote that song? Come on. Bonus question. Who wrote You Are Not Alone? Anyone know that? Come on now. Everybody loves a bit of bully. Spanish says he wants me to sing more. Cheers, Ridiculizer. No, people don't know. Wasn't it R. Kelly? I think it was R. Kelly. I believe I can fly. Because it was the same vein, wasn't it? I believe I can touch the sky. Anyway, back to the quiz. Sorry. Yep. Right. Next. Bop in 92. Who sung Bop? Was it R.E.M., Hanson, or the Puff Daddy? Bop. Who sung Bop? Was it R.E.M., Hanson, or Puff Daddy? Answers on a postcard or in the chat, please. Rich T says, bad lad, R. Kelly. Yeah, in prison, I believe, now. So B is Hanson, we're getting. Blazing saying Hanson. Nubin saying Hanson. Yeah. Rich T says Hanson. Yeah. Ridiculous says Hanson. Spanish says Hanson. James says Hanson. I think you all know it's Hanson. Yep, absolutely. Question 9 of 18. Who had the hit Men at Work in 83? Was it Bryan Adams, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, or Down Under? Who had the hit Men at Work in 83? Was it Bryan Adams, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, or Down Under? I think you all know the answer. No, it wasn't Rammstein, Chris. Nubian says Down Under. Spanish says Down Under. Yeah. Down Under. We're getting Down Under. Yeah, I think it was Down Under, wasn't it? Okay, who we can work it out in 67. I think this is quite easy. Was it the Beatles, the Animals, the Rolling Stones, or the Monkees? We can work it out. Do I really need to ask you? Come on. We can work it out. Who was it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Beatles. Beatles. Everyone's saying Beatles. I think we're safe to say it was the Beatles. Who had the #1 hit Grenade in 2011? See, it's getting a bit more difficult for you oldies now. Was it REM, Black Eyed Peas, or Bruno Mars? Who had the #1 hit Grenade in 2011? A shared US and UK #1. Grenade. Who had that hit? Ridiculizer says Bruno Mars. Spanish says REM. James says REM. Mandy says Bruno. Rich T says Bruno. Mascara's Blazing saying Bruno. I know the answer. And I know it was Bruno Mars. There we go. Question 12. Who had I Will Always Love You in 1992? Was it Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Madonna, or Cher? I Will Always Love You. Who sung that? Whitney says Ridiculizer. James says Whitney. Mascara says Whitney. Nubian says Whitney. Amanda says Whitney. I think you all know it was Whitney. Absolutely. Can't Buy Me Love in 64. What a great year. Was it the Rolling Stones, the Animals, the Beatles, or the Monkees? Can't Buy Me Love in 1964. A joint US and UK #1. No, it wasn't Dolly Parton, Mascara Snake. Ridiculizer says it was the Beatles. James says B, the Animals. Rick Hayward says C, the Beatles. Kitty says the Beatles. Rich T says Tavistock Institute. Okay, that was a very, very good answer and deserves a round of applause. There's enough of that. Yeah, very good. It was the Beatles. Yeah, it was the Beatles. Question 14 of 18. Who had the hit Maggie May in 71? Was it Sting, Lionel Richie, Elton John, or Rod Stewart? Was it A, B, C, or D? Sting, Lionel, Elton, or Rod? Who had Maggie May? Oh, let me go back to the chat. Oh, sorry. Nubian says Rod. James says Rod. Mandan says Rod. Rich says Rod. Mascara says Rod. Pete says Rod. Ridiculizer says Rod. Nubian says Rod. Chris says Rod. Blazing says Rod. I think you all think it could be Rod Stewart. And you were right, mate. Question 15. My Heart Will Go On in 1998. Who had My Heart Will Go On in 1998? And what was it from? What film was it from? My Heart Will Go On. There we go. I'm adding a little bit more to the question. Was it Cher, Celine Dion, Madonna? Ridiculizer says Cher. Chris says Celine Dion. Spanish says Dion. Kitty says Cher. Oh, Ridiculizer's changed his to Celine now. Okay. And what was that? What was the film? Rich T says Titanic. Yep. I think we do know it was Celine Dion and My Heart Will Go On. And question 16. Who had #1 hit Just Dance in 2009? Who was it? A, Lady Gaga, B, Pink, C, Rihanna, or D, Madonna? Who had the #1 hit in US and the UK with Just Dance in 2009? A, Lady Gaga, Pink, B, C, Rihanna, or D, Madonna? Gaga is ridiculizer saying. Amanda saying Gaga. James Owen says D, Rihanna. Spanish says fuck knows. Mascara saying A, Gaga. Stance, I don't know who Stance is. And Kitty says Lady Gaga. It was Lady Gaga with Just Dance, I believe. Yep, we were correct on that one as well. And question 17, who had the hit I'm a Believer in 67? Was it the Bee Gees, A, the Beatles, B, the Rolling Stones, C, or D, the Monkees? Who had the hit I'm a Believer? Was it Bee Gees, Beatles, Rolling Stones, or Monkees? Ridiculizer saying the Monkees. Yeah, Starfish says Monkees. Blazing says Monkees. Nubian says Monkees. And Steve says Monkees as well. And for an extra bonus point, what was the film that made it famous again? What was the film that made it famous again? A cartoon film. Come on, bonus point. Chris says 24 viewers, 17 likes. That means GCHQ. Amanda gets it right. Yes, it was Shrek. And so does Starfish Troopers podcast. It was Shrek, of course. Absolutely. And it was the Monkees. Yep. And last but not least, who had the #1 hit Umbrella in 2017? Was it Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Pink, or Madonna? Who had the hit Umbrella? Pete says it was Rihanna. James says Rihanna. Spanish says Rihanna. Amanda says Rihanna. Chris says Sylvester Stallone. Rich T says Clamdia. Ridiculous says Rihanna. Yeah, it was Rihanna, wasn't it? I think we all know it was Rihanna. Yeah, it was Rihanna. There we go. Oh, you have not answered the following question 8. Oh, so did we not do question 8? Let's go back to question 8 then. Hang on. Hang on. How do I go back? There we go. Let's give it. This is poor show. Oh, right. Okay. Okay, so question 8. Who had the #1 hit? I Got a Feeling in 2009. Was it Black Eyed Peas, R.E.M., or Bruno Mars? I got a feeling, ooh, that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Yeah, people saying Black Eyed Peas. That's a dodgy name, isn't it? Black Eyed Peas. No link there, is there? Black Eyed Peas or Bjorn Skiffs, as Nubian says. There we go. Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, we know it was the Black Eyed Peas. Of course it was. There we go. We got 100%. 100% in this lovely quiz. Yes, 100%. You know what that means, doesn't it? Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. Yeah, well done, everyone, if you got all those questions right. I think I got them all right, actually. So well done to you. It's nearly the end of the show, which means I've got one more tune to play, but also to promote these lovely bunch of people. All the channels and the links to the channels are in my show notes. So if you want to join them and subscribe to them and like them and follow them like I do, please do so. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's been lovely having your company and sharing some health stories with you and just stories about my life in general and chatting with you all and hearing your feedback as well. There was one question I forgot to ask, but I'll save it for next week. I'll be back next week. Me and the dog Ripley. We'll be having a woofing time. There may even be some doggy stories, shaggy dog stories. I'm sure there'll be stories about me having to get up early in the morning and take the thing for a wee and a poo poo, and I'll hate it. But you know what? I love that fucking dog. And so it just leaves me to put the link in for the after chat. If you want to join us, there's going to be me and 9 other people. Please join us. You don't have to say anything, but the rules are listen to people. When someone is talking, please use your ears, okay? Not just your mouth. Listen to them, okay? Because I want it. We normally have a good chat in there, but just be very good at listening to people, please, and give everyone a chance to speak. Thanks for watching. I've got one more tune for you again, and all I can say is this one is especially for the lovely Nubian who's been watching the show for a long time, and she mentioned this last week. And Nubian, this one's especially for you. Thanks for joining me always on this show, and I shall see you all next Tuesday. And remember, they may come as good as you, but they don't come any better. Take care, everyone, and the show must go on. I won't let it.
Baby, though I chose this lonely life, it seems it's strangling me now. All the wild men, big cigars, gigantic cars, they're all laughing at me now. Oh, I've been used. Ooh, I've been taken for a fool.
I wish you'd help me escape and help me get away. Leave me outside my dress, far away from this masquerade.